Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from worldwide. I'm Sterling. It's great to have you back on the channel here once a week. The show is being recorded for Sunday, March 13th, 2022. And as always, these shows are for entertainment purposes only. So all the information I share with you comes real time through my guides and angels, extended spiritual counsel, famous people from history, ETs, and they're for entertainment purposes only. Also, anyone that needs to reach me, we get this question all the time. You can navigate to sterlingpsychicmedium.com, look for the book a session tab, and it's very easy from there. We're also still running a contest. So when we reach 22,000 subscribers, we'll give away another free half-hour session with myself. The way to enter the contest is just to enter comments in these shows, starting off with the word love. That's how we know you want to be entering the contest. And then we pick the winner from the very show where we cross, in this case, 22,000 subscribers. So hopefully that's helpful. One other quick request. I want to run kind of a quick little experiment with everybody. Whenever you like or subscribe or share these videos, it really helps the back-end algorithms with YouTube. So I'm going to make a quick request of everybody. We have almost 22,000 subscribers. If everybody could take the time just to like the video, I want to see actually how many likes we can get out of kind of our 20 to 22,000 subscribers. And I think that's really going to help put the show out into a space where it'll help more people that may benefit from it. So quick ask, it doesn't cost anything and certainly very helpful. So today we're going to go through, I think it's a top 34 countdown. And all the questions that we use on these shows come from our community board. We put out a request once a week on Mondays. And then my wife goes through those questions and she tries to select questions that have not been answered before. And then as a follow-up, usually within 24 hours after these shows air, we make sure there are timestamps up on the show so you can go back and look for the questions or answers that you kind of want to follow up on. So hopefully all that information is helpful. And with no further ado, let's get into today's show, Top 34 Countdown. So the first question we have here, does Archangel Raphael have anything he would like to share? He does. He is absolutely best known as the Archangel of Healing. And right now he's working overtime, saying to heal the mind, body, and spirits of everybody on the planet. I know many light workers will call on Archangel Raphael. He appreciates that. He hears everybody. He also wants to know he is working overtime to help the mind, body, and spirits of everybody in Russia and the Ukraine and many other areas, even NATO nations, to try to bring together healing and try to bring together everybody in a way that's helpful to bring peace to the world. He's also acknowledging he is working directly with several ET groups to help with this effort. And he wants everybody to know that he hears all your prayers. He hears all the requests. And he's on top of it. So a great archangel to have around during this time of necessarily great healing. And then the next question is kind of an addendum, but this came through. This is another kind of request that came through, but there was a message here from Emilio Delgado, who passed away, I think it was March 10th here of this week. Emilio was a longtime actor on Sesame Street. I don't know if it was like 35 or 45 years, but he did come through this morning, and I acknowledged that I wanted to bring him through here. So one of the things he wanted to acknowledge was that the first person that he saw on the other side was the actor that played Big Bird, which is kind of funny. And I think his name, I don't know if it was Carol Shimmy, I'm going from memory, but he saw the actor that played Big Bird. And in fact, he was wearing the Big Bird costume. So he got a great laugh out of that. Emilio is also saying that he got greeted by thousands of children that did not make it into adulthood, but were on the other side to greet him. So it was a wonderful, loving gesture. He also mentioned that he got his singing voice back. He wanted everybody to know that. And that he understands kind of the wonderful plans that are in store, I think, for a memorial for him in light of all the goodness he put out to the world, but something going on here with his family and the memorial that's going to be done for him. And, all kidding aside, he said it was one of the greatest joys he had was helping even a lot of minority groups to understand their full potential and how to live your best life. So a wonderful human being, and really kind of a pleasure to get a chance to talk with Emilio. Did not know him at all, but a wonderful human being. Okay, question 33 in our countdown. Hi, Sterling. A few months ago, China bought an enormous amount of wheat. It was speculated at the time that perhaps they could not feed their people. Looking at current events, I believe they knew Putin would invade Ukraine all those months ago. Am I correct? Yes. President Xi understood that there would be Ukraine was going to be under distress based on his discussions with Putin, and knew that that would put a glitch in the worldwide supply of wheat. And so he was hedging his bets to not only help his people, but help from an economic perspective. So yes, that's correct. 32, do you see Putin being forcibly removed, or does he resign based on pressure from other officials? Will he face any war crime or human rights charges? I don't see him forcibly removed. What I do see is that there's a large contingent of his generals and military force that try to curtail his authority and stop some of the orders that come down from Putin. And I do see him kind of being put in a corner, so to speak, by his military and his generals. So they kind of reduce his power, reduce his ability to affect, the use of major world weapons, chemical weapons, biological weapons, even nuclear. And they're telling me here that I don't think he does not ever go before a world court. But it looks like when he finally does pass, for me, they're telling me, looks like it could be from colon cancer. And in fact, he may have some portion of colon cancer right now, but there's something here that takes him off the planet. It looks like colon cancer. So whoever asked the question, I hope that's helpful in kind of giving the full perspective on Putin. Okay, question 31. Do your guides still see Prime Minister Trudeau in office 1 year from now? Yes, I do see him still in office and making it through a lot of the turmoil he's going through from a lot of right-wing groups. So it's like he still stays in office. 30. Can people who have crossed over get upset with us? My mom would always come to me. I recently found out some things about her. Ever since, it seems as though she's upset with me, haven't felt her presence any longer. Well, no one on the other side ever is upset with us for anything that happens here on Earth. When you're on the other side, you only want the best for our loved ones. And you also do not want to get in the way of any earthbound lessons you're supposed to learn. So if there are any times that a loved one may not come around, and they can come around anytime they want, but if you feel they may not be coming around, it could be a time of growth for you, and they don't want to be around in any way that would affect that change or that growth you're going through. But no, loved ones don't get upset with us. They only want the best for us. They stand in complete love, and that's all there is to it. 29. What will happen to Sweden now that they have broken their neutrality and are sending weapons to support Ukraine? Well, Sweden is not a part of NATO, but I do see them, interesting enough, being protected by NATO nations. So something comes into play here where NATO nations do try to protect Sweden. And so it looks like by and large, they're okay from this. 28. When someone like Putin passes and is having his life review, does he have to feel the pain of every person his decision the war caused? Let me see if I can rewrite. When someone like Putin passes and is having his life review, does he have to feel the pain of every person his decision for war caused? Does he relive each one? Well, yes, unfortunately, it's true for all of us that we go through all of the feelings that we executed on others, so to speak, all the good feelings, all the bad feelings, all the things that we encountered here in life. And for those that have done a lot of things that hurt people, it may feel like, some portion of hell. There is no hell, but you certainly go through a full life review, and that'll be the case with Putin as well. 27. Hi, Sterling. My sister attempted suicide last August and was in ICU on a vent-induced coma for a week. She's now recovering and discusses everything she can remember. She mentioned while on the ventilator being aware of complete darkness that felt like there was just a nothingness. Due to this experience, she's now questioning what happens when we die. Do you think the dark nothingness she felt was due to the induced coma, or is there more to this? Yes, this is a direct effect of the drugs that were used. So your sister did not go through any kind of an NDE or a near-death experience. So she did not start the journey into the light, so to speak, and get greeted by a birth angel. So these were transitional effects created by the drug-induced coma, but she did not enter into a near-death experience. So that's the difference. 26. What will happen to Russian soldiers that deserted or were captured in Ukraine? Well, they're eventually, many of them are going to help the Ukraine effort. So that's a good thing. That's going to help in kind of the war effort in Ukraine. And many of them will kind of already understand that what's going on in Ukraine based on Russian, military action is not right. So it looks like in the end, it'll help support the Ukraine effort, and they'll be joined by other forces in the world that are going to help Ukraine. 25. Who keeps touching my head on the left side while I'm sitting at my desk? I am not the only one. Linda G and Kim at Intuitive View are getting the head touching as well. This is a specific group of angels. It's probably your birth angels that are manifesting for you, letting them know they're very close to you. So this is a confirmation message from your angels, letting them know they're very close to you. That's what you're feeling. 24. You have spoken many times about CRISPR technology as it pertains to treating many different medical conditions. Will there still be issues with allergies or sensitivities that many of us experience with current medications and other treatments, or will the CRISPR technology be well tolerated by all? Be well tolerated by all. CRISPR technology by its very nature is gene editing technology. So it gets at the base genealogy, if you will, of human beings. And a lot of the medications and treatments developed will be thoroughly vetted and really will be tolerated very well by everyone. So not the same kind of pharmaceutical drugs that have been developed in the past. These are very advanced drugs that work at a gene level. 23. Part of my feng shui consultation will also include finding out what naughty spirits, energetic beings are still in certain homes. How do I protect myself from them latching on to me? Say a simple prayer of protection. And there are many simple prayers of protection. For example, you can ask to stand in supreme protective white light. You can ask for any spirits that are there that are not of the light to be cast back into the light. Don't come back to this location, and they fully respect that. And if you find any that are following you home, it's always helpful to sage the environment. Sage is a great way to release a lot of the heaviness in the environment and keep yourself very clean. So some simple techniques you can use there. 22. If aliens have stayed concealed while visiting Earth for thousands of years, what is motivating them to go public in 2025 or 2026? Why now? Well, this is all part of the timeline of Earth. This is all part of the timeline that's been forecast by many, many psychics, mediums, people like Nostradamus. But this is the timeline of the Earth where, starting in 2020, over the next 3 decades, the most healing and the most life-changing shift on Earth is going to take place. So this is the right timing, even according to the Akashic records, for a lot of extraterrestrial species to make themselves known, even though they've been here for millions of years. And in fact, they're interacting in Ukraine right now around nuclear facilities. But this is the right time. That's according to the timeline of the Earth. 21. Sterling, why are your answers so quick, confident, to the point? Well, everybody that does this type of work works with a different team, if you will. different set of angels and guides and spiritual counsel. So that's one part of it. You have to owe it. You certainly give up credit to the team that communicates with you and their strength and clarity of communicating. The other part of it is just the skill of the psychic and medium, and everybody's born with different levels of skill or can perfect those skills through life. So a number of factors that kind of come together. And I will tell you that, like anything that we do in life, many times we've done these things in prior lifetimes. So we don't always just come into this lifetime. Good example are musicians sometimes that come into life that are completely able to do tremendous things at 5 years old. Play very complex concertos, or Mozart or Beethoven, and a very young age. So I would just tell you the simple answer to whoever asked this is that it's owing to a number of factors and prior lifetimes and what you came into this lifetime to help with, and then the team you have working with you on the other side. So all of those are factors. 20. Hi, Sterling. In yesterday's show, your guides described how 3 groups of ETs helped to stabilize the nuclear power plant in Ukraine that had a fire caused by the Russian invasion. I'd love to hear more details about the 3 groups. I'm wondering if they were Pleiadians, Arcturans, and Lyrans. Yes, absolutely. Those are the 3 groups, along with, I'm being told, hundreds of hybrids. And hybrids are more like, they look like small grays, but they're part technology and part cell structure. But there were hundreds of AI, small gray AIs as well. And all these operate in some respects in a different dimension, so you can't always see them. Others do shape shifting, and they look like people operating in the plant. So you wouldn't necessarily know that they're ETs. But yes, those are the 3 main groups that helped and continue to help in Russia and Ukraine right now. 19. I believe flowers and trees are sentient. How do flowers and other fauna, like Christmas trees, feel about being cut for their roots and left to die for our enjoyment? They all understand this is part of their heavenly purpose. They're on the planet to give joy. They understand there's no birth and no death. Life is a continuous process, and may them come back immediately. So they understand it's all part of their higher purpose. Okay, question 18. Will Alvin Bragg be accountable for stopping the Trump prosecution? Yes, we'll see a lot of this come to light, and a lot of the prosecutions move forward in 2022, probably more towards the latter part of this year, but certainly involving Alvin Bragg. We'll see that all come to bear towards the third quarter of this year. And remember, it's entertainment purposes only. 17. Animals headed toward extinction like wolves. Is there hope for them? Yes, new federal regulations will be in place very soon, even starting this year in 2022 and more in 2023. And remember that within about 5 years, because of new CRISPR technology, there'll actually be some extinct species that we'll be able to start to bring back. I know it's been brought up before, like the woolly mammoth, but new technology will bring species back if they are extinct. But I see other species not being extinct due to good federal regulations coming up here, even for wolves. 16. In the early hours of 2020, I woke to find a spinning geometric shape floating in front of me. It emanated blue and green light. What was this, and why was it shown to me? Well, what they're telling me, this is representative of a symbol of the Akashic records. So whatever work you're here to do on the planet, this is a little bit of a knock on the shoulder, so to speak, to say, awaken to the fact that you actually have ability to reach into the Akashic records. So they're kind of showing a symbol here, waking even to a past life effort that you had, and that's what that was all about. Yeah. It's all your spiritual guides, by the way. It's your angels and spiritual guides that help put up that imagery in order to kind of awaken a memory. 15. There are times when, for no reason at all, I have this feeling of absolute peace, happy state, where everything feels balanced and totally in tune with the universe, and nothing could improve this perfection. Can you tell me what is going on? Well, these are times you're tapping into the one source, right? The one source, supreme love. And it's almost like, getting yourself completely in tune with that. And that's why you feel it throughout your body. Many people can do that. If you practice, you can do it, on a very regular basis. But that's what you're feeling. That's what it feels like when you get in tune with the one force, complete harmony with the universe and the one force. 14. I'm a realtor and have been one for the past 20 years. Seems like every now and again there is a talk about changing the way we are compensated. Do your guides see this changing? No, not for many years. So, many years is, 3, 4, 5 years even. But it does look that like there'll be more creative ways of paying. For example, options to get paid through cryptocurrency and that kind of thing. Don't see the basic structure of how payment happens. In fact, they're just telling me that not for another 5 years. And after that, you'll start to see very unique ways in the way people are compensated around real estate. 13. Around 1995 or 96, I attended an alien ship watch party in rural eastern Kentucky, where many were gathered with high expectations. No ships were sighted, but the next day we walked in the surrounding woods where I detected a being in a tree that resembled a gorilla, large, dark, and hairy. No one else could see it. It began following me and actually showed up at my home several hours away. It made me very uncomfortable and a little scared, and took several months of asking for it to leave me alone. Can you tell me what this entity was and what it wanted? This was a shape-shifting ET that believed that you wanted to interact and wanted to help them. But it looks like after some period of time, whether it was a few hours, they realized that you were scared, you were frightened, and we're not really going to be able to help. So they moved on. So you kind of sent out a signal that you were able to help and wanted to interact. And so they answered, but then realized that it was kind of a false alarm, so to speak. 12. Will ETs aid in halting the destruction of the rainforest? Yes. I mean, they're already helping, and there'll be massive amounts of help in 2025 and 2026. It will take decades to restore the rainforest worldwide, but they're already helping. And then some sort of a massive amount of help in 2025 or 2026. That's probably when they're more public and can do things more out in the open. 11. Why, if we ask our spirit guides to take us in place of a child that never happens? My heart aches for the children in Ukraine. I wish my life could be in place of theirs. Well, simply put, this gets back to life path, purpose, and blueprint. So, if it's not on your life path or part of your blueprint, you can't exchange souls. You can't go in place with somebody. And also, no one gets off the planet if it's not your exit point. A good example, sometimes people try to commit suicide many times and keep being brought back. If it's not your exit point, you won't go. And further, you can't take an exit point that doesn't belong to you, especially if it's assigned or aligned to another person like a child. So those are the mechanics of how the universe works with the one force. And so hopefully that's helpful. Number 10, our countdown. As we keep ascending, we become one, and differences such as race dissolve. Why is it then that when there is talk about the evolved ETs here to help, we hear about tall whites, blonde, blue-eyed ET races that appear to be some of the most evolved? Well, first off, nearly all alien ET races are highly evolved, and there's a huge range of species and all different characteristics and colors and heights. I think sometimes you hear more about the tall Nordics or the tall Whites, the Pleiadians, because they're very active on Earth. So you hear some about that. But remember, there are dozens of extraterrestrial races and species looking all different ways, all different colors, that are interacting here with Earth. So I guess that's a little more clarification. It's not just the tall Whites or the tall Nordics. It's really the Pleiadians. Many species, many races, and look all different ways. Number 9 in our countdown. My husband made his transition 2 years ago. I've continued to feel his presence with me ever since. I find this very comforting. Can he read my thoughts, not just the conversations I'm having with him, but all my thoughts dancing through my mind? Yes. So, when you're on the other side, you're pure energy, you're back to your spirit self. And by the way, you can look any way you want to, but they certainly can interact and hear all our thoughts, all our interactions here, because it's really all that pure energy connection. So sure, they can hear everything you say, and and they continuously send out loving thoughts. Family members do. A lot of times you can feel that. So complete interchange and thought process back and forth. Okay, number 8 on our countdown. Well, we have the various size magnetic motors, nano to massive, that will power everything from our cars to our cell phones, every appliance in our homes, allowing us to ditch batteries altogether. And is this years or decades away? Well, major advances over the next few years here in nanotechnology, nanomotors, nanotechnology, robotics. And yes, there'll be many more advances in motor and drive technology and also in battery technology. So very shortly, within a number of years here, you're going to see battery technology the size of postage stamps, so very, very small, using things like graphene technology. So this is all coming. It's a number of years away. It's still faster than 5 years, major advances in 5 to 10 years. And they'll be in every part of our life. Absolutely. 7, a few years ago, after piecing together events spanning back to my childhood, I realized I may have been subject to lifelong abductions. Around the same time, my son, who was just 4 or 5, was talking about aliens being his friends. Are your guides able to answer if my family was abducted, or am I just a victim of vivid imaginations? Yes, your family appears to be one of the groups of families that have been abducted, and that means that they're following you, following your lineage and a lot of your ancestors for many, many years. And if you ever want to dig down deeper into some of these memories, sometimes careful hypnosis can bring forth a lot of the memories, but it appears that there's some abduction in your family that you can certainly bring up the memories if you want to through hypnosis. 6, when I was a young girl, a being full of golden light would come and talk with me at my bedroom window at night. I can't recall what she spoke about, and I wasn't scared. I look forward to seeing him and remember calling him Starman. Who was this being? I don't pick up this was an angelic figure. So this is one of your birth angels coming to visit you. And for whatever reason, they felt the need to come around you and make themselves known, but not a starman, not an extraterrestrial. And, children can see angels, angelic figures, and family members have crossed over at a very young age, usually up to age about 5 or 6. And I think this person said when I was a young girl. So I'm not sure how old you were. Maybe you were less than 7. So that would typically why you'd be able to see them. 5, Sterling, in 1985, at my childhood home, I would hear strange noises, like someone throwing furniture around, but nothing would be out of place. There would be singing, white foggy patches moving through walls, and sleep paralysis, all happening when what looked like a UFO was outside the window. These events were witnessed only by the females of my house. What was going on, and why didn't the males witness any of these events? Well, congratulations. This is typical of what happens when there's a portal in your location. So either their energies could be extraterrestrials, other types of energies moving through the portal, and the fact that the females could see the females were somehow more sensitized to the other side. So this is all characteristic. Everything you're describing, the banging sound or the knocking, the white fog, all very characteristic of a portal. And in fact, some very famous portals exist, for example, at Skinwalker Ranch. So they experience some of the same things. 4 in our countdown. Hi, Sterling. My question is, when I was heading to my doctor's appointment a few days ago, Spirit told me to wear my t-shirt that had my granddaughter's school logo, a Black Panther, on it. I put the shirt on, and as I was traveling down the highway, there was an 18-wheeler in front of me with the exact same Panther head on it. As I passed the truck, there was a whole-bodied Black Panther leaping on the side of the truck. What was the meaning of this? This, for me, comes across as one of your past family members trying to get your attention. So there may be some connection with the Black Panther image, or maybe the movie Black Panther, but there's something here that connects with a family member trying to get your attention. So it looks like they went through a great deal of effort to make that connection. So give some thought to what that Black Panther connection is, and you'll discover the family member. It feels like it's a female family member to me too. 3 in our countdown. If we are all assigned birth or guardian angels, how is it that we can be tormented and even harmed by ghosts, evil spirits, demons? Are they too powerful for our angels? Well, first, there are no demons. We all are assigned birth angels that stay with you for life. Spiritual guides will trade out as you go through life, depending on what you need. So you have different combinations of spiritual guides. Let me see. The question was, we're all assigned birth angels. Everything that we encounter on our life path is part of our blueprint. So if someone says they're tormented, I'm going to assume maybe they feel like they're going through some major life lessons or could be some traumas. These are all part of your life path blueprint. So it's not something that, say, your birth angels or guides are supposed to stop or prevent if it's part of the learning lesson you're down here on Earth to experience. So hopefully that helps answer all the parts of this question. Number 2 in our countdown, do you see anything coming up this week? I see significant movements around peace talks. I'm not saying peace talks are coming to Ukraine, but significant discussions around different ways that peace might be achieved, different types of off-ramps. I also see some movement with those with the MiG-29s that Poland was going to try to get over to Ukraine, which ended up being a non-starter of them going through Germany. So the U.S. did want to get involved. But I see some very interesting developments happening in ways to get the MiG-29s over to Ukraine. I do see some talks of the world's nations, including NATO, looking at ways to prevent or nullify biological and chemical warfare. So looking to put resources on the ground or the area that might help if that happens. And so all these things, the world's nations are working very, very carefully to reinforce Ukraine and to help. So I see a lot of that happening. Yeah. And number 1 in our countdown, do you have anything your guides want to share? Yes, understand that the world is getting ready to come full circle from the depths of despair to the heights of a new enlightened world where everyone is one. So the world's going through a very stressful period right now, but this is all part of a metamorphosis that's been designed by the earth and by the one force to bring eventually everyone together in more unified ways. So just understand that the world is going to go full circle and go from the depths of despair into a very enlightened, wonderful place. So on that note, we'll conclude this show for Sunday, March 13th, 2022. Again, anybody needs to reach me, sterlingpsychicmedium.com. Look for the Book a Session tab. I'm also doing a show with Linda Grindle, the Comanche Psychic, on Sunday, March 13th as well. You can look for that. And so to everybody, I'm wishing you a lot of goodwill, tremendous love to the world, love to you and your families. Look forward to seeing you again next week. Have a great week.